Bipolar Barbie here. Now I just wanted to do a video on what I think everyone with a mental illness would like people to know about our experiences with mental illness and what it's like to actually suffer a mental illness, clearing up some myths and misconceptions about us as people. First of all, I would like to start off by saying that mental illness is real, that I am fighting a war inside my head, and just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And when people say to me things like it's all in my head, it's kind of like, well, yes, but that doesn't mean it just affects my mind. It doesn't mean that I can think myself out of it. My brain is in my head. That's where thoughts originate, and it's just such a small part of what your brain actually does. If my brain is not functioning correctly, and it's the control center of my entire being, that literally means that the signals that are being sent to the rest of my body aren't always right either, which means the physical symptoms and the physical repercussions are very real. I can't just get over it. I can't just put a smile on my face. Believe me, I've tried. Contrary to popular belief, I don't want to be like this. I didn't choose to be like this. And I actually want to get better more than anything in the whole entire world. And my life has basically been dedicated to this cause since the moment I realized that something was severely wrong. Since I experienced mental illness for the first time and knew that I honestly could not live like this anymore. So I had to find another way to live. It's not that I think suicide is the only option, but at times it really feels like it does, because I am exploring every other option. And when you are hitting dead end after dead end in your recovery journey, whether it be doctors who don't believe that you need help, whether it be the treatment that you're seeking just not working, there are a lot of roadblocks into recovery. No, there is not a cure. Yes, there is treatment available if you can find it or you can afford it. But please be patient with us. Recovery is hard. It takes an enormous amount of time. I mean, my journey has been at least 10 years long, and I'm going to be battling this for the rest of my life. I don't think it gets any easier, but I certainly get better at it. And I thought I would be better by now too. I really am trying, and I wish you could see that. I also want you guys to know that my depression is not simply bad personality traits. I am not a lazy person. I'm not a negative person. I am not an antisocial person. Really, I'm quite optimistic, because otherwise, why would I still be here? And it in myself that I can't function the way that people expect me to, the way that I expect myself to function. And sometimes medication is necessary. It's not just about making healthy lifestyle changes, going outside for a walk, doing exercise, meditating, going to therapy sessions, thinking positive, or having just a general positive mindset. I can't think my way out of this. I'm not denying, though, that all of these things have a significant influence. My experience with medication and finally finding the right medication is that it brought me from down here to about here, where I was at a level of functioning capacity where I could actually start putting the rest of those positive lifestyle changes into effect, where I had enough energy, where I was clear enough in my mind to actually contemplate doing those things. And I don't think I can receive 100% recovery without getting some form of medication, right? And I also can't get to that level of recovery that I want, that happy, healthy lifestyle that we all want to achieve, without all of those other things. Don't assume because I'm still depressed that I am not practicing all of those things on a daily basis. I don't know how to ask for help. So when I do, please take it seriously. It's likely taking me months, if not years, to work up the courage to finally reach out. And what I want most of all is for you to just listen. Any of your helpful advice is really just going to sound patronizing. Things like, have you just tried to do this? It's like, No, Sherlock, that wasn't the first thing that popped into my head. I haven't just tried to be happy. I haven't tried to just get over it. What I really want from you, aside from just taking the time to actually listen to me, if you want to help someone with a mental illness, and they really do need practical advice, things like making doctor's appointments, helping them clean their house, helping them clean up after the devastating effects of an episode, because mental illness really does infiltrate every aspect of your life, and there are some things that are just too hard for us to do at the time. Please, don't be afraid to say something. I want you to say something. If you see that I'm not okay, I probably am standing there waiting for someone to say something, because not only does it show that you care, but I am finding ways to grapple with the idea that I am not okay. And how do I go about asking someone? How do I start that conversation? It's always on the tip of my tongue, but I don't want to burden someone with my problems. And hearing that I am on a burden on you is really unhelpful. It really hurts my feelings, because I can assure you that nobody wants to be a burden. It's not my intention to be a burden, and I feel like a burden already on the rest of my family. So please, the excuse that I just didn't know how to help you really doesn't fly, because I didn't know how to help myself. I didn't know where to turn. And I don't expect you to know how to help me, but guess what? It would have been really nice if I didn't have to figure it out on my own. I don't want you to save me. I don't expect you to fix me. I really want you to be there and be present and watch me save myself. I want you to be proud of the little steps that I do every single day to overcome my mental illness. You might see my glass is only half full, but what you don't realize is that when I woke up this morning, it was empty. That I am trying, that something as simple as having a shower today or leaving my house might be a huge achievement. Answering the phone when you ring, opening up a letter, these are things that mental illness often takes away from me, that other people take for granted. I see everyone else thriving around me, and I'm barely surviving. And all I've ever wanted is to be able to live so that I could enjoy being alive, or at least that life was not as painful as it is with living with a mental illness. This existence is inhumane. I don't understand why anyone would think that we would choose to live this way. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry that my mental illness affects you. I feel incredibly guilty for it. I don't want your sympathy. I don't want your pity. But I do want you to be empathetic, accepting, and tolerant of my situation. The only thing that's worse than living with my diagnosis as a mental illness in general is the way I see everyone withdraw around me. The way I see people look at me like I'm an alien, like they're scared of me. I expect you to understand, but I do expect you to be understanding. You're taking the time to watch my video, feel free to share if you want, people in your life to know this about what it's like to live with mental illness. And if you are someone that cares for someone with a mental illness, then please take the time to check out some of my other videos, because I honestly think bringing awareness to this topic is really important. And I thank you all for taking the time to understand what it's like for someone to live with a mental illness, or even taking the time to understand yourself and the struggles that you face. I'm really proud of you for getting here, and I wish you all the best on your recovery journey. So thanks guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like this video, and if you have something to say about it, write it in the comments below. I definitely will get back to you. Thanks guys.